Frank Reich is one of my favorite, if not favorite, coaches of all time. He understands me as a player. He understands me as a person.
Ooh, welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. Nick Foles is lobbying to be the next Colts quarterback. Harder than Big Tobacco lobbied to hide the fact that Joe Camel died from lung cancer, Perna. Now that we know Carson Wentz is out 5 to 12 weeks.
5 to 12.
You guys
I
played
like
him
your
in 9
chances
weeks.
of being right.
You guys played him in 9 weeks. How much do you kind of keep an eye on
Well,
that?
that falls right in the middle of it, doesn't it?
That's right. All failed doctors head to Indianapolis immediately, where you can simply point to an open wound and say, "Dat bad. Heal long time." Nick Foles sounds like a man who hates the idea of playing third fiddle in Chicago behind the world's most fiery second fiddle in Andy Dalton. So the question is Big Dick Nick to Indy realistic? There was a brawl at Giants training camp. Quenton Nelson got the exact same injury as Carson Wentz. I'll wish Tom Brady a happy birthday, and the top high school recruit in the country, Quinn Sidearm Ewers, is officially skipping his senior year to make money playing college football. That is a weird but true sentence. So should high school athletes be allowed to leave early for money? I mean college. Today, on That's Good Sports. If you have any interest in losing your soul, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Today's episode is sponsored by buyraycon.com/thatsgood, which will save you 15% when you use my link in the description. Now, I've taken my wireless Raycons with me everywhere. Yes, I do leave my dungeon editing station from time to time. I've been to New York, to the desert, to the top of the mountains, all the way down to the industrial wastelands of North Denver, to the most American place I know, a bald eagle's nest. I even went to the future, where Raycon's 6 hours of playtime, array of color selection, and snug noise-isolating fit were unmatched. Raycon has a 45-day free return policy, which means you have until the start of the regular football season to test them out. So click my link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/thatsgood to get 15% off Raycon earbuds, which are already half the price of other premium wireless earbuds. Okay, let's begin with headlines from around the wide world of sports. A full-blown brawl took place at Giants training camp, and somehow Daniel Jones, of all people, ended up on the bottom of the pile. If Daniel Jones was at the bottom of the pile, it just means he was trying to find his fumble. Giants reporter Ralph Macchio reported this live on Twitter, stating, "The brawl made Joe Judge livid. Head coach Joe Judge seems like the kind of guy who would enjoy a brawl. He seems like the kind of coach who can only get an erection after witnessing violence. But I've been wrong about Joe quite a bit, and apparently Judge inflicted a half hour of punishment runs for the players. So good thing Kelvin Benjamin was already cut. Half hour of running might have killed him." More from Ralph Macchio on the punishment. After doing 100-yard runs and not hard enough for Joe Judge's liking, players are now lined up on the goal line doing push-ups. There is dead silence except for Joe Judge's whistle and his expletives. So many expletives. Somewhere in the distance, Phillip Rivers shed a single tear. Matthew Stafford hit the thumb on his throwing hand during practice, but is expected to be okay. Kind of dramatic considering he has 9 other fingers. After adding Russell Westbrook, the Los Angeles Lakers have also added Carmelo Anthony to join LeBron James in his quest to become the oldest team to ever win an NBA championship. In fact, with the addition of Melo, the combined age of the Lakers roster is now higher than the number of women Wilt Chamberlain slept with, which famously was 20,000. 20,000. Nick Foles has been mentioned with the Colts now that Carson Wentz will miss significant time. I'm trying to think what the Indy special would be. Oh God, no. The Indy special is bad. It's really bad. It's 2 foot surgeries for the price of 1. Quenton Nelson is undergoing surgery for the same broken foot bone as Carson Wentz had. Are foot injuries contagious? Is that why it's called athlete's foot? Do we need to start contract tracing? No, Rex Ryan, that does not mean you get to trace people's feet and pretend to be a podiatrist again. Deshaun Watson was not at Texans practice as the pads came on today. That makes sense. Extra layers sound like Deshaun's kryptonite. Kyle Pitts already looks like a freak at tight end. I'm just imagining if the Falcons had another freak wide receiver to put next to him. Could you imagine that in Atlanta? And finally, the Panthers cut JT Ibe for injuring wide receiver Keith Kirkwood with a headshot during practice. This is a sad case of an undrafted free agent trying to make a play and getting a little too aggressive. JT Ibe released a statement acknowledging the mistake. Seems like his biggest mistake was being an undrafted free agent. And those were your NFL Sports Worldwide headlines, whatever the fuck I call it. Okay, the worldwide leader in sports, TMZ, reported that Tom Brady slammed his helmet and threw a temper tantrum at the Bucs practice after realizing that even if he won practice, he wouldn't get another ring. Tom's getting really old, so some of the rules are confusing to him. Well, they've always been a little confusing to him. But today we learned he and Zach Wilson share a birthday. Zach Wilson is 22 and Tom Brady is 44. Judging by this photo, Tom might actually be Zach's dad. If the Jets defense carries Zach to his first Super Bowl win, then we won't need a DNA test to confirm that. Now, being an unhappy quarterback who has won a Super Bowl is a popular trend in 2021. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and now it sounds like Nick Foles. I'd say rarely do you see a quarterback lobby to get the hell out of a situation he's in, but that's exactly what all quarterbacks do now. Oh yeah, I forgot Deshaun Watson. But here's Nick Foles at a press conference yesterday confirming what Will Keys and I have been saying for 2 years on this show. Frank Reich was the biggest reason Wentz and Foles thrived in Philly, not Doug Peterson.
Frank Reich is one of my favorite, if not favorite, coaches of all time. He understands me as a player. He understands me as a person. But, you know, right, I haven't had any talks with him. I don't know. I'm a Chicago Bear right now. But I think if he knows me. He understands. I mean, y'all watched the 2017 season in the playoffs where he changed the offense and built it around me, and y'all saw what happened. So he understood my mentality as a player, and he was able to build it around me and put me in a successful position and my teammates. But that being said, they have Carson. And Carson and I have a lot of history. I have a lot of respect for Carson. He's a tremendous player. He's going through adversity once again, but he'll bounce back. And you know what? He might miss a few games, but I know he'll be back out there. But we haven't had any talks, so right now I'm a Chicago Bear, and I'm going to keep slinging with these third stringers, and we're going to dice them up.
We all know the appeal of Foles going to Indy. Carson Wentz gets hurt, Nick Foles comes in and wins the team a Super Bowl. That narrative, though, is tired. It's dead. The real question is, what happens when Carson Wentz comes in for Nick Foles like he ought to do in 5 to 12 weeks? Probably trip over that big Foles dick and break another foot. If that's not bad enough, though, I haven't seen a single thing that would indicate that the Colts are going to trade for a QB right now. They signed Brett Hundley. That move alone suggests they believe Wentz will be back sooner rather than later. They have 4 QBs on the roster not named Wentz, and 2 of those guys are players they drafted. Trust me, watching Gardner Minshew behind that offensive line with that defense on the other side of the ball would make me very happy. While Chris Ballard loves a deal, I just think they will see what they got right now with Eason and Ellinger before they give up any compensation for another gamble at QB. Plus, Nick Foles' cap hit is $6.666666 million. That's why he must play behind Andy Dalton, the red-headed devil in the flesh himself. Chicago has been applauded for the Justin Fields pick, but they still have one too many veteran quarterbacks on the roster. And that's why Foles wants out. just don't think he's going to Indy.
I'm going to keep slinging with these third stringers and we're going to dice them up.
All right, the big story today: should high school athletes skip their senior year to start college early like quarterback Quinn Ewers is doing? Why would a high school athlete skip the best year of high school? You finally have at least 2 friends with fake IDs. Most of the teachers now sort of respect you. You will dominate on the football field because you're that much better than everyone else. And most of the girls don't have STDs yet. So why would you skip that? You know what they say, with NILs come STDs. Now the reason Quinn Ewers would ditch his senior year is because he can make 7 figures from NILs. If you recall, the NCAA had to change its rules about college players making money on their name, image, and likeness, aka NILs. After the Supreme Court was like, bruh, a college education isn't worth more than the millions of dollars college athletes could be making while playing sports, especially if they get a liberal arts major. The other reason Quinn Ewers is leaving high school is because he's already 18 and a half. He probably wants to go to college to have legal sex. Quinn Ewers is hitting the campus of Ohio State early because his home state of Texas passed legislation stating high school athletes could not be allowed to make money on their name, image, and likeness. And when asked why, Texas state representatives responded, "We can't have black children out there making more money than us." Outside of making 7 figures, Ewers may be in a rush to get to Ohio State because their quarterback competition is wide open. With the departure of Justin Fields, the Buckeyes don't have a single scholarship QB on the roster who has thrown a pass at the college level. They're sort of like the Indianapolis Colts of the NCAA. So Ewers could make bank, and he could start right away at age 18 and a half, and he could get into the NFL early, becoming the next Sam Darnold. Yes, I see the Jets being in position to draft Ewers in 3 years. Ewers posted to Twitter to announce his decision to go to Ohio State early. He revealed he has just 1 class to complete to get his high school diploma, and based on his proper use of grammar, I don't think it's English class. He stated, "I understand many will have opinions on this matter, but only my loved ones and I know what's best for me and my future." Oh, damn, there should have been a comma and not a period before the word but. Maybe it is English class he needs to finish. Also, Quinn, I actually do know what's best for your future. And it's playing ball in Ohio right now and stashing 7 figures in your bank, and it's not even close to going back for your senior year. I'd trade my senior year for $1 million in a heartbeat. And not just because during my senior year I had to serve 100 consecutive days of detention for changing the element SC from scandium to scrotum in every single one of the chemistry textbooks. It's because in 20 years you won't regret missing that time. Unless, of course, you peak in high school. And you're not going to, Quinn. If you're the best high school quarterback in Texas, you're probably the best high school quarterback in the country. It's the most competitive high school football state, despite what this shaky drone footage would lead you to believe. And going to college, where the competition is greater, will force you to get better more quickly. Growth is good. And yes, take that holy kombucha money with you, Quinn, and invest it. Or just put it in a CD account. Tell me what I should do with my money, Quinn, because I don't know. Thanks for watching Thatsgoodsports. Please subscribe here on the YouTubes. I'm on Twitter at Brandon Perna if you want to get my sassy takes. Or you can watch the video on the screen. I got more videos about shit.